Hello, my name is Artem and you're watching Danielians Ventures YouTube channel, where I try to discuss matters that are close to my heart and maybe share some insights related to technology, business, startups, and web. So today I'd like to talk about Resilio Sync, which was previously known as BitTorrent Sync. I think it's a wonderful service, and most importantly, it's absolutely free. So what is Resilio Sync? It's basically a Dropbox competitor with one key difference. You have to pay Dropbox in order to synchronize files and directories past their free level, I guess, which is now 2 gigs, or I think you can earn a bit more if you refer friends and so on. But basically, if you have your own hardware, and if you have, for example, a terabyte drive, right? And you want to sync that whole drive with your friend who also has a terabyte drive. If you want to do it through Dropbox, you would have to basically purchase, both of you would have to basically purchase a Dropbox license for 1 terabyte. So that's all great and wonderful. But with Resilio Sync, you can just install Resilio Sync on your computer, and your friend can install Resilio Sync on his computer. You can then share a folder to your friend, and then the whole syncing process is very similar to Dropbox, but you don't have to pay anybody. And also your files are not stored anywhere on Resilio servers, basically. So Resilio provides infrastructure for connecting you to your friend, but the actual data doesn't go through Resilio, which is also, I think, a great small bonus that you get basically, for free. So there is one key problem though, and that is, what if you and your friend both shut down your computers? Well, then there is no server that is sharing that file. Or let's say, for example, you are sharing a work folder in your company like we do, and everybody leaves the office, turn off their computers and so forth, but you would like your clients to be able to still, I don't know, receive files and so forth. But if there are no computers sharing that data, and since Resilio doesn't share the data and doesn't store your data on their servers, so if there is nobody sharing the data, then basically the system doesn't work. So in short, what you can do, and what we opted to do, is you can get a server, somewhere, for example, DigitalOcean, Linode, or OVH. You can get a server with like 1 terabyte space, and you can install Resilio Sync there, and that server can be online 24/7. So you never have to worry about leaving computer on and so forth. And another wonderful thing that we will today walk through is Dropbox allow you to create basically public links, right? You can right click on a directory and just choose, copy to clipboard a public link, and then you can put it in email or something to your client, for example. Let's say in our cases, we share, for example, big PSD files, banners, and videos and stuff like this with our clients using Dropbox. But once you install Resilio Sync, Resilio Sync doesn't offer that functionality. And Dropbox can offer that functionality because they actually store the data on their server. But Resilio Sync doesn't do that. But if you basically get a server, you can get similar functionality by installing a small additional software that I will walk you through today. So let's get started and let's get busy. First, what you need is actual client on your Windows or Mac machine, and that's just a few clicks and you will have Resilio Sync installed, no problem. Resilio comes with 2 flavors. and that's free version and pro version. And I really suggest you buy the pro version, since I think it's like $20 and it's a one-time fee and you never have to worry about it. You know, I guess, I mean, with the worry, I guess, I mean, you know, them going out of business, since nobody can, you know, live with no money and just good words and so forth. I really suggest you support the company. There are some additional features that you will get, and most notable, I think, is selective sync. So if, for example, you have like 20 terabytes of data, right, in your company folder, and you want to only get a few files here and there, and for example, you connected your MacBook laptop with 256 gigs of hard drive space, you're kind of in a pickle, right? Because your shared folder is like 20 terabytes and you have like 200 gigs. So with selective sync, you can still connect to that folder, but Resilio Sync will not sync all the files. Only the ones that you will double click in Finder, only those files will be synced. So only basically the stuff that you need, you will be able to sync, and you will be able to put files in Resilio Sync folder, and that will be synced to the server and everybody else who is connected to that particular folder. So I really suggest supporting them basically. And you will get selective sync, which is awesome, especially I think on laptops. So once you install the Resilio Sync on your desktop, you will be able to create a folder that you will then be able to sync with your coworkers, friends, and so forth. And Resilio Sync provides a few options. So standard folder, if you just want to share a folder, let's see, let me create a folder that will share just test folder. So let's create a folder here, test folder. So you will create basically a simple folder, and now you're able to share that folder with your coworkers, friends, family, and so forth. But the way that sharing works in Resilio Sync is that it will generate a special link. So, and you can create two types of links: read-only. So if you want to allow the other peer to only read the files, you create read-only link. If you want them to also be able to read and write, when obviously delete, you can create a read and write link. Also, you can choose if possession of the link will be sufficient and they will be able to automatically connect, or you will have to approve them through the system here on your desktop. So there will be a small notification here, and it will just say like, hey, so and so tries to connect to this folder, do you want to allow? And expiration, it will expire, the link will automatically expire after some time. I really recommend leaving it as it is. So I think by default it's pretty simple. Most likely you will just want to select read and write, and it will create a link, and if you paste that link in the browser, you will see something like this. So basically the peer that will receive this link will see something like this, and if he has Resilio Sync installed, he will just be able to click this one button, and that's it. His client will open and the process will start. Or if he doesn't have the client, he will be able to download it. Okay, cool. So that's just, you know, simple folder. And if we click disconnect, then we will no longer sync. And if we click delete, then we'll completely delete syncing functionality from this folder. Then there is advanced folder, which is a bit different, and I don't remember if it's a paid functionality or not. Yeah, so if you're an owner, you can, I think, revoke access and modify access later, and you can add other owners. That's pretty much it, and I think it's better for corporate environment where you want to revoke access later on if need be, or change access. Okay, let's delete these two. And I think which is really awesome, and what we'll try to do today, maybe, well, yeah, okay. And we will go over encrypted folder functionality. So this I think is really cool and really differentiates Resilio Sync from Dropbox. So we talked about renting a server from DigitalOcean or Linode or OVH and so forth. But if then somebody takes possession of that server, then they will be able to access your files. But Resilio Sync allows you to create an encrypted key. Using that key, the server will be able to sync content, basically for backup, but the server will not be able to access content of the files. So basically, server, every time you make changes on your desktop, all the changes will be synced to the server, but it will be encrypted. The files will be encrypted, and so basically, if in some case, for whatever reason, somebody hacks, let's say, the server, or for whatever reason it gets exposed or whatever, you will not basically lose anything. So I think that's pretty cool. But now that I'm thinking about it, if you use encrypted key functionality, that's all great, but then you will not be able to use our next really cool thing, which is ability to create public shared links. Obviously, that will not be possible because your server will not be able to read the file. So let's just create this encrypted folder, but let's sync it with read and write functionality. That way we can use additional program that I'll show you soon to create those public links. All right, cool. So now we have created a folder, really nice. And if we click on it, here it is, it's empty. And let's go ahead and create a simple folder, just like test, and then inside it, create a just test document. That's it. Okay, cool. And you see here, there are no peers. So basically nobody is connected to this folder. Okay, so let's imagine you have that virtual server or a dedicated server or some other Linux machine. And now you want to sync that folder with that machine so that you have always one peer, always online 24/7. Okay, cool. So it's time to install Resilio Sync on your server. I recommend something Ubuntu based, since it's just easier, since Resilio Sync has all the packages for it. And installing it is pretty simple in the end. You just have to follow the instructions, and it's pretty simple. And remember, if you don't know how to do this yourself, you can just get a freelancer for a few bucks to do it for you, since it will take him maybe like 30 minutes, an hour tops, and that includes explaining how he's done it. So if you don't know how to do it, don't be discouraged. You can just get somebody who can do it. So we need to create this file with this content like so, and then we go back and run this command. Yes, very good. And then we can just we don't need ARM architecture. No, we don't need. And then just update. And when that's done, we just do this. Yep. You see, that's not really that hard. All right. Very good. And then once installed, we need to enable Resilio Sync. I think, yep, very good. So that's that. And okay, we need to also enable, I think we're done. Yep, I think we're done. And let's see if Resilio Sync already is online. No, it's not. So we need to service and then Resilio Sync and start. Yep. And now we can see that the Resilio Sync is running and it's listening on port 8888, and it's listening only on local IP address, so you can access it, from this machine itself. And obviously that's not good enough for us, because we want to be able to access Resilio Sync remotely from our desktop or whatever it might be. So that's for installing. Now let's get into configuring. All right, now it's time to configure Resilio Sync, and basically what you need to do is just edit this file and replace the local IP, localhost IP, with the actual IP you'll be using to access the web interface of Resilio Sync. In my case, it's this IP, it's its internal network, but you can find out your IP using ifconfig command, and you can see here that I just took this IP and replaced the localhost IP with the IP that I can use to access this server from my machine. And then simply restart, there we go. Restart Resilio Sync service, and that's it. You're done. You will be able to then access web interface, pasting this into your browser, as you see here, and it will work. Now what we need to do is we need to create, I will delete it, I was just testing, but we need to create a folder where Resilio Sync will store files on the server. So let's go ahead and create sync data. There we go. And now as root, we need to make sure that we give it correct permissions. And we can see Resilio Sync runs with this user permission, so we can just give own sync data, like so. We can just give ownership of this folder to this user. That's it, we're done. And then we go to our desktop, and where is my Resilio Sync window? There we go. And the folder that we want to share with the server, we can just click here, copy, read and write key, cool, and then we can just go back to the terminal. I love me some, no, we don't need to go back to the terminal. We can go to this GUI, yeah. And then we click here, enter key, we paste the key, and then it says, where do you want to store the data? We choose the folder that we created, click open, boom. That's it. The hard part is done. It's done. Seriously. So what happened now is you see that our desktop client now shows that there is one here that is also having access to this folder, and all now information that will be in this folder will be synced with this peer also. So let's go ahead and find a file, some maybe a big file that we want to sync. Okay, I have here I have here some files that I will just copy to this folder. So let's just copy file here. It's 16 megabytes. Oh, you see, it says now receiving, and you can see here that it received the file, and you can go ahead and check it via console that indeed there is this file. Okay, let's try with something more interesting, in the sense that something that would be big enough that we can actually see the process. Okay, 200 megs. That should be okay. Yep. So here is another file. I have copied it to this directory, and we can see that soon it will start. Basically, what it does when you copy a huge file, what it does, it creates checksums of that file, splits it into small parts, and starts sending it, basically. And that's it. It's sent, and our server received it. And again, we can verify this. Yep. We can see that the 2 megabyte file was received. Since this is my virtual machine, this is really quick. This wouldn't be as quick maybe in real life, but more or less Resilio Sync is really, really fast. Okay, that's cool. So let's imagine that we want to now send a link to this file to our client. With Dropbox, we would be able to just click here and then copy link. We cannot really do that with Resilio Sync, since it's running on our infrastructure. But we can use a really cool program, I guess a script or web application, whatever you want to call it, called Vino File Manager. And I'll have all the links in the description and so forth. But it costs, I think, a little bit. Let's check how much it costs. I think it was like, yeah, $28 on Code Canyon. Really not much. I think it's so far the best one that I've seen that allows us to share, create public links, and basically access our files. Basically a file manager that runs in your browser. Okay, so I have, once you download it, you just have to upload the PFM folder to your server, and you have to have Apache PHP running, and you also need GD extension for PHP, and you need zip extension for PHP, and you need to install those. And I'm not gonna go into installing Apache PHP, you know, GD model for PHP, and installing the zip extension. It's really quick though. It's really quick, and there are tons of tutorials. But basically, you need to have those running, and then you just upload this PFM directory to your web server, and then you just access it via browser. And what happens then, let me check, do I have GD and zip extensions on my machine, just to be sure. I don't think I have it actually, so I should install it. Yep, because it took me a while to realize why wasn't the file manager working, and I realized I didn't have GD extension and zip extension installed. And I think zip extension, yeah. Yep. And now service Apache 2 to restart. There we go. And now basically, for the first time when you visit the DFM file manager, you need to use admin and password as your credentials. Keep yourself logged in. And as you see, it doesn't really have anything, no files, nothing. We need to fix that. So we need to make sure that our file manager can see Resilio Sync files. And in order to do that, we can just create a symlink in the VFM directory pointing to where Resilio Sync syncs the data. And we can just do it so. And now you can see inside VFM directory, there is a new directory, basically, which is a symlink pointing to our directory where all the files are. So now we can refresh. All right. Okay. Let's again something. Let me see if I got it right. Yep. So basically we need to, as you've seen there, we need to point it. I don't know why it is done this way, but it's not really intuitive. But if the directory of the data is named data, then you need to change upload directory to this directory name, and then it will work. So now you can see we have the video files, and you know, it's all good. We can now download them easily by just clicking this button. There we go. Wait. There, no, that's not that. Group action, download. There we go. For some reason that click. Okay, so we can download the files with ease, as you can see. So this gives us access to Resilio Sync files without installing Resilio Sync and doing all the syncing and so forth. So if you are on the road and you need to get one file from the company Resilio Sync directory, then you know this is probably a much easier way than installing Resilio Sync and so forth and so forth. But let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let's go over administration and make sure that we have configured a few things that we need to. So here you can configure the name, you can add logo, time zone, host name, all that jazz basically. And you can, for example, I don't like the idea of people being able to upload through EFM any kind of file, so I change the behavior from listing only rejected extensions to listing allowed extensions, and then I don't list any extensions. So that means that nobody will be able to upload anything. And then here, basically, we want people to be able to register. I don't really like that at all. Here is the important part. This we need to enable. So you can create links, public links that people can use to download files similar to Dropbox using this web application, but you can select how long, which I think is awesome, how long the link, the shared public link, will stay active. You can also enable ability to password protect links and additional copy button. So yep, and then enable statistics, maybe change the logo and just click save. Cool. So now you can go to, for example, this mul. Weird. What is that? Arbitrary precision numbers. Maybe it's because our folder has empty data, and this is why it doesn't know how to calculate the size. I don't know. Let's try like so and like so. Just put some files in it. Yep. Now if we go here, yep, synced, all nice. We can just refresh. Then if we go to the, yeah, now it works. I guess it's because the folder was empty and had a file that was empty. Don't know. But anyway, now if we, for example, want to share this file and create a link that we can give to our clients, for example, we can just, as you've seen, select the file, or we can use this button to select all files. Then we click share. And then if we want to protect it with password, we can do this here. And it can be password for every single link. We can define a separate password. So it could be just for this one link, a certain password. I don't need that here. We can just click generate link. And then here's our link. And now we can send it to our client, for example. And if we share multiple files, so if we create now many files here, we'll be able to see the syncing in action. Yep, you can see that this desktop client is sending and the server is receiving. So sending again and done. That's it. Very quick. So if we have many files, we can just click so, click share, generate the link, and now we can why didn't, yep, we can just give it to our client and he will be able to download files individually, or he can download everything as a zip file, which I think is really cool, because then you can share many files and download them really easily. And just to prove it, you can see I opened incognito mode, which automatically means I'm logged out from the system, and still it allows me to download the files. So this has been a pretty long video. Thank you very much for sticking until the end. So basically what you have now is a really inexpensive way to have a similar functionality to Dropbox with a few additional features. You have the ability to create public links that expire after a certain time, password protect them. You have a server that's running 24/7 and allows you to basically be that peer that is always online. So if you don't have to worry about keeping your computer on and so forth. And also Resilio Sync encrypted folders allow us additional functionality that Dropbox and Google Drive, for example, doesn't provide. So hopefully you liked the video. Provide some comments. I'd love to hear from you. And remember, this has been a rather quick video in the end. So some things we didn't really pay attention to, and that is security. So there are a few things that could be done in order to make this setup a bit more secure. And I'll have some links where there is additional information. But I wanted it to be a short, well, rather short video that would get you started and you would see results right away. Because I think that instant gratification of having the service up and running and so forth is really, I think, cool. And then it's much easier to dig into details and adjust it a bit to your liking, making links, you know, providing additional security to Resilio Sync on server and so forth. So I'll have some links and make sure you check them out. But let me know what you think. Should I make more videos like this, or should I skip to the shorter ones? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.